Hello everyone and welcome back to the 3T Path channel. My name is Giridhari. And I saw an article recently saying that there are 8 habits that can increase your life up to 24 years. And I thought it was really interesting because all the 8 habits recommended there are habits which I speak of in my book, The 3T Path. So I wanted to share that with you because I thought it was important information for us all to have. So let's look at this list of the 8 habits that can extend your life up to 24 years. And if you want to see the complete article, I left a link to it here below in the description of the video. So here we go. What's this all about? It's a study that was made with 720,000 military veterans aged from 40 to 99 years of age. And then they followed their lives and they saw which habits they had and what habits tended to extend life. So here's the list from the most important to the least important. Number 1, first on the list is exercise, with a 46% decrease in the risk of an early death. So exercise, of course, is so important in the 3T path, in the system that I teach. We call that goes into the category of natural dharma. Your natural dharma is taking care of your body. And I include also sleeping well. It's a hugely important topic. You can see more and more people talking about it these days. And eating well as well, which is going to come up in this list a little further down. So exercise, so important, just as much as you fit it in. They say at least 7 hours a week of exercise makes a huge difference, but having a nice, intense program of exercise, I find wonderful myself. I love doing it. And of course, it's very important. Number 2, not becoming addicted to opioids. Of course, I don't specifically mention opioids in my book, but there is a whole section, the 3T path and the path of yoga. Of course, we avoid all kinds of drugs, all kinds of recreative drugs. So no drugs at all. Keep your body clean. But of course, opioids, it's hugely impactful, destroys people's lives. People get addicted to it so quickly. You've heard about it, just a terrible situation. People got addicted to all sorts of over-the-counter opioids. And so by not becoming addicted to opioids, you reduce the risk of an early death by 38%, quite a lot. Number 3, never having used tobacco. They were strict about it. Didn't say, of course, if you are smoking, you stop smoking. That's going to be hugely beneficial for you. But they included just people who had never smoked cigarettes. And again, it's in the category of all drugs. We talk about this in the 3T Path book. So no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. So that would reduce the risk of death by 29%. Okay, number 4, managing stress. Really interesting. Learn to reduce and accept stress, reducing early death by 22%. Of course, reducing stress is a major factor of what we teach in the 3T path, or what yoga can help you with. Is one of the main things, practical results you can get from yoga right away is to reduce stress, because yoga is all about how you think, how you focus your mind, where you focus your mind, how you deal with your thoughts. That's what yoga is all about. That's what, the whole yogic path and this study of the self. You're dealing with managing your emotions, your thoughts, your focus. It's all about these things. So it's a huge benefit. And of course, many of my students tell me how much they have reduced their stress by learning these techniques. Of course, we teach mindfulness and meditation. These are proven techniques to reduce stress. But not only that, it's the most important things you can learn is to change your focus, is what I call the change from the fantasy paradigm to the reality paradigm. The fantasy paradigm is when your mind isn't in the here and now. And it's going to the past in lamentation about things that went wrong in the past, bad decisions or bad things that happened to you. Or worse, when your mind goes to the future, hankering after certain situations, fantasizing, that's why I call it the fantasy paradigm, that certain situations or things that you may buy will make your life better. You will be happy if such and such happens, and not right now. You don't learn how to be happy now. You live in a state of anxiety, anxious for certain result in the future, and frustration and anger, etc., because your mind is always thinking that things aren't good now, but they could be if this or that happen in the future. So techniques like that, of course, I'm just saying it really quickly here, but if you get deeper into the 3T path in general, this channel, you'll see lots of videos on these topics. So that's very important. And the other really interesting point, which we talk about sometimes, is resilience. So it's a really interesting studies they have made that stress will affect you more, will cause more damage to your health if you interpret it as being bad. Just if you accept it as not being so bad, if you accept the stress and you're okay with it, you develop resilience in accepting difficult situations, then it doesn't affect your health so much. Really interesting topic to look into. Number 5, eating a plant-based diet. That's a big topic in yoga. Again, in the natural dharma, I spoke about exercise, I spoke about not doing drugs, and I spoke about eating, plant-based diet. So that's huge topic, very important in yoga. We don't eat animals because of a whole bunch of reasons. In my book, I list 7 reasons. I'm not going to get into that now, but there are 7 major reasons for you not to eat animals, to have a plant-based diet. But here we go, another important studies, huge study, 720,000 people studied, showing how eating a plant-based diet can raise your chances of living a longer life by 21%. Very big topic, very important. Interesting that it's part of yoga. Number 6, back to drugs. Avoid binge drinking. They were specific about binge drinking because that's extra harmful. But one study found that even one drink may trigger an irregular heart rhythm called atrial fibrillation. This isn't part of the same study. So, avoiding alcohol in general, it's always better for you. Alcohol is never, more and more, because for a while, the alcohol industry financed some studies to say, oh no, it'll be good for you to have a cup of wine a day, stuff like that. It's rubbish. It's actually now you can see government regulate. You can see, go to the, if you're in the UK, you go to the UK government, what's the recommendation concerning alcohol? If you're in the US, what's the general surgeon's recommendation concerning alcohol? And they'll tell you right there on their websites, no amount of alcohol is considered healthy. No amount, 0. 0 alcohol is the best thing to do. And of course, it's interesting how this new generation is getting less and less into alcohol. You see there's these alcohol-free bars opening up in many cities. So this movement is very nice. We have to get over this thing of thinking alcohol's okay. It's not okay. It causes so much death. Millions of people die because of alcohol-related issues every year. Drunk driving, crimes, or just, health problems. So dangerous, so bad for you. So avoiding alcohol. So look, right now, everything that I specifically mentioned in my book, The 3T Path. Number 7, getting a good night's sleep. Again, it's a topic, I've made videos here. I've been talking about this for years. Getting a good night's sleep, defined as at least 7 to 9 hours a night. So 7 to 9, there are videos about it. I talk about this in my book. It's a big, important topic. And of course, more and more science is coming out pointing in this direction of how important sleep is. It's a huge thing. We just didn't think it was so important before. We kind of ignored, oh yeah, forget it, I've got better things to do. I should get up, I should work, But no, it's actually the most important thing for your health is to get a good night's sleep. And also it just affects your emotional abilities, your intellectual abilities, the physical health of your body. It just impacts you on all kinds of levels. It's very important. Your memory, learning is just very important. So that can reduce an early death from any cause by 18%. Okay, and number 8, last one on the list here, being surrounded by positive social relationships help longevity by 5%. Not a huge thing, but again, being surrounded by positive social relationships is the term they used in the study. And what I always talk about, and it's one of the topics in the 3T path, is avoiding toxic people. So don't have toxic relationships. They're really bad for you. They will actually, increase your chance of having an early death. So avoiding toxic people, doesn't matter who they are, you have to rearrange your life to push away, to remove from your life the presence of people who are constantly giving you emotional damage, emotional harm, and then you have to deal with that emotional damage, and that takes up energy and time, that stresses you out. You don't want to get there, so you want to avoid toxic people. All right, so that's it. Those are the 8 habits which can prolong your life. Each one, they explain that each one gives you a benefit, and if you add another one, it gives you more benefits. So they stack up. They stack up. It's not just like one thing and that covers everything else. No, they stack up and they add up, and according to them, up to 24 years. When they're all practiced, you could extend your life. That's a lot, right? 24 years is a lot of life extension. So definitely worth taking a look at this list, and make sure you check out the description of the video. It has a link to the complete article. So thank you very much. Have the rest of your day with lots of peace and lots of love.